Dear colleagues, this presentation is delivered within the framework of the 25th International Scientific Online Conference, Karazin Readings, Person, Language, Communication, which is hosted by Karazin Kharkiv National University, Faculty of Foreign Languages. My name is Olena Morozova, and I am presenting on behalf of my co-authors, Doctors Natalya Oliynyk and Olga Meleshchenko, who played a leading role in the study reported here. Our research examines key features and current trends in the digital transformation of university-level language education in Ukraine. The analysis presented here is based on the benchmarking report of the Erasmus Plus Capacity Building in Higher Education project, entitled Modernization of University Education Programs in Foreign Languages by Integrating Information Technologies, also known as the DigiFLEd project. The relevance of this research is closely connected to the current context in which Ukrainian higher education operates. The full-scale war in Ukraine has profoundly disrupted university life, resulting in institutional instability, interrupted academic schedules, and limited access to physical classrooms. In response, universities have been forced to move rapidly toward blended and online modes of instruction. This transition has become a necessary condition for educational continuity, and at the same time, the crisis has exposed significant inequalities, including a persistent digital divide, uneven access to technological resources, and different levels of institutional preparedness. As a result, the need for resilient and flexible modes of language education has become particularly urgent. However, the rapid expansion of digital and hybrid formats should not be equated with systematic digital transformation. In practice, this process has remained uneven and fragmented in Ukrainian learning institutions. Despite ongoing digitalization efforts, language education remains constrained by structural limitations, including disparities in institutional infrastructure, insufficient support for the development of digital content, differences in instructors' digital competence, and fragmented integration of digital tools into curricula. These systemic limitations point to the need for a comparative perspective on the issue. Against this background, the experiences of European partner universities participating in the DigiFLEd project, namely Tampere University in Finland, Maynooth University in Ireland, and the University of Western Macedonia, serve as reference models. Analyzing these approaches allows us to identify structural gaps and access the challenges and transformation potential of language education in the Ukrainian higher education context. At this point, I would like to briefly outline the research aim and design of our study, as well as the conceptual framework that guide our analysis. The main aim of the research is to identify the key features and emerging trends in the digital transformation of Ukrainian university language education. To achieve this, we draw on the DigiFLEd benchmarking study as our primary empirical basis. This benchmarking provides structural data on digitalization practices at European partner university and allows us to situate the Ukrainian context within a broader European perspective. Methodologically, the study adopts a qualitative research design that combines comparative analysis with content analysis. This approach enables us to identify recurring patterns, institutional differences, and structural characteristics of digital transformation in university-level language education. To ensure a consistent and theoretically grounded interpretation of the benchmarking data, our analysis draws on several key European frameworks. First of all, it is DigComp EDU 2.0, which is the European framework for educators' digital competence. It defines the skills teachers need to use digital technologies effectively for teaching, assessment, collaboration, and learner support. In our study, this framework provides a basis for evaluating instructors' digital readiness and their capacity to teach effectively in digital environments. Second, it is the Digital Education Action Plan that outlines the European Union's strategic vision for digital education. It emphasizes the development of digital infrastructure, the strengthening of digital skills, and the promotion of innovative technology-enhanced teaching practices. This document provides an important policy context for understanding institutional digitalization strategies. And finally, it is the CEFR companion volume, which extends the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages by introducing updated descriptors for mediation, interaction, and online communication. This makes it particularly relevant for analyzing how language teaching and learning are evolving in digital and hybrid environments. Taken together, these frameworks provide a coherent conceptual lens for analyzing institutional practices, pedagogical models, and digital transformation processes in university language education, and for evaluating their relevance to the Ukrainian higher education context. The comparative analysis of the DigiFLEd benchmarking results, viewed alongside key European digital education frameworks, reveals a number of shared structural foundations underpinning the digital transformation of language education at the partner universities. First, all analyzed universities demonstrate strong strategic alignment in digital governance. Digitalization is embedded in their long-term institutional strategies and supported by dedicated units, including teaching and learning centers, digital learning units, and IT services. These structures play a key role in supporting instructors, developing blended learning methodologies, and ensuring ethical and responsible use of digital technologies. Second, the partner universities operate integrated digital ecosystems built around learning management system, most commonly Moodle. These platforms function as digital backbones supporting standardized course structures, multimedia content, interactive tools, and learning analytics. Such ecosystems enable personalized learning, improve accessibility, and support learner diversity. A further shared trend is the extensive use of multimodal resources, such as interactive materials, microcourses, and self-study scenarios, which strengthen learner autonomy and flexibility. Multimodality is not treated as a supplement, but as a core pedagogical principle in digital language education. Another important development concerns the growing integration of artificial intelligence tools. Across the partner universities, AI is used to support feedback, assessment, and communicative practice, while particular attention is paid to digital ethics and academic integrity. The emphasis remains on responsible use, which AI is supporting, but not replacing the pedagogical role of the instructor. In contrast, in Ukrainian higher education system, there are several systemic challenges in digital transformation of language education. These challenges arise from a combination of long-standing structural difficulties and context-specific constraints intensified by war. At the structural level, technical infrastructure remains a major barrier. Universities continue to experience uneven resource provision and, in many cases, the use of obsolete equipment, which significantly limits the effective integration of digital and multimedia technologies into language education. In addition, access to modern multimedia resources remains restricted, support for the systemic development of teachers' digital competence is insufficient, and approaches to the digitalization of language education are often fragmented rather than holistic. Under wartime conditions, these existing limitations are further exacerbated by power outages, connectivity disruptions, infrastructure damage, equipment shortages, and the displacement of students and academic staff. The growing reliance on asynchronous and mobile learning formats has become a necessity rather than pedagogical choice. As a result, digitalization in Ukraine serves not only as a tool of educational modernization, but also as a critical mechanism for ensuring the resilience, continuity, and basic sustainability of language education under prolonged war conditions. The comparative analysis of European digital transformation models and the DigiFLEd benchmarking results allows us to move beyond description to formulate a set of practical recommendations for Ukrainian universities. Taken together, these findings point to the need for a coordinated, systematic approach to modernizing language education. A key priority is the institutionalization of digital transformation through the development of university-wide strategies aligned with European digital education politics. Such strategic alignment is essential if digitalization is to become a sustainable component of institutional development, rather than a collection of isolated or reactive measures. A shared logic of course design reduces students' cognitive load, improves navigation, and supports more meaningful online interaction, which is especially important in blended and asynchronous learning formats. Another important practical step concerns the standardization of digital learning environments. In particular, the unification of Moodle course templates and the structured organization of digital learning materials, following practices widely used in European universities, can significantly improve course quality. At the institutional level, it is essential to strengthen digital support for teaching staff. European experience shows that successful digital transformation relies on dedicated digital learning centers or teaching hubs. These units combine advisory, methodological, and technological functions. They support instructors in developing digital resources, implementing blended learning models, and addressing ethical issues related to the use of digital technologies. Such structures help ensure that digitalization is pedagogically sound and professionally supported. Within this framework, a particularly important task is expanding continuous professional development programs. These programs should focus on digital didactics, multimodal course design, universal design for learning, and the ethical use of artificial intelligence. Crucially, professional development should not take the form of occasional training sessions, but instead it needs to become a stable and recognized element of universities' professional culture. To strengthen student autonomy, universities should also enhance the technical capacities of their learning platforms, particularly Moodle. This includes integrating multimodal tools, learning analytics, and carefully regulated AI-based applications. When used responsibly, such tools can support individual teaching feedback, stimulate authentic communicative situations, and facilitate independent learning. At the same time, their use must comply with principles of digital ethics and academic integrity, which is essential. Further development should also include pedagogically grounded gamification strategies, as well as the creation of inclusive and multilingual digital resources that ensure accessibility for all learners. To conclude, our comparative analysis of European practices in the digitalization of language education shows that successful transformation is not driven solely by technology. Rather, it depends on a combination of strategic governance, well-developed digital infrastructure, sustained support for teaching staff, and the gradual, pedagogically informed implementation of innovative technologies. The benchmarking conducted within the DigiFLEd project has enabled us to outline the key characteristics of the contemporary European model of digital language education. Importantly, it has also helped identify the components with the greatest potential for adaptation within Ukrainian universities. These include, first of all, institutional coherence in digital policy, the establishment of digital support centers for teaching staff, a systematic approach to continuous professional development, standardized principles for structuring Moodle-based courses, and the purposeful use of multimodal educational resources. Another significant direction concerns the responsible integration of artificial intelligence technologies in line with European ethical standards. When applied thoughtfully, these tools can enhance students' autonomy and create additional opportunities for language practice in digital and hybrid learning environments. At the same time, the Ukrainian context is shaped by the impact of the full-scale war, which has revealed both positive adaptive developments and persistent structural barriers. These include uneven technical provision, differing levels of digital competence among instructors, and fragmented institutional approaches to digitalization. In this situation, benchmarking serves as a particularly valuable analytical tool. It allows universities to identify clear priorities for modernization and to situate national practices within a broader European framework. Overall, the results of this study can serve as a foundation for the development of modern digital strategies and language educational programs. Such strategies have the potential to strengthen the resilience of the educational process under martial law, ensure the quality of language training, and support the gradual alignment of Ukraine's higher education system with the standards of the European higher education area. The bibliography supporting this presentation is included in these two slides, and we acknowledge that the research is co-funded by the European Union, and views and opinions expressed here are, however, those of authors only and do not necessarily reflect those of the European Union or the European Education and Culture Executive Agency. Neither the European Union nor the granting authority can be held responsible for them. So, thank you for your interest in this presentation. And we, Natalya Oliynyk, Olga Meleshchenko, and Olena Morozova, hope that you have found it useful.